YouTube, my name is Rachel Mayo. Welcome to my channel and thank you for being here. I'm going to be discussing the lunar eclipse that's happening on the 26th of May at 5 degrees Sagittarius. This eclipse takes place in fiery and free-spirited Sagittarius, and it marks the first eclipse of the year. Eclipses always bring sudden shocks and revelations and the unexpected. Eclipses are very Uranian, so expect the unexpected if there is such a thing. For the people that don't know how eclipses occur, let me just give you a brief explanation. Eclipses occur when the moon and the sun are close to the karmic nodes. However, the conjunction has to be about 10 degrees. This lunar eclipse is 5 degrees away from the south and the north node. So essentially this means that we are definitely going to feel the effects of this lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipses tend to usually affect the females in our lives, and they bring endings and culminations. Solar eclipses, on the other hand, affect the males in our lives, and they bring new beginnings. So this lunar eclipse is going to bring culminations and endings in the area of Sagittarius, the natural ninth house of the zodiac. So go to astro.com and get your free natal birth chart so you can find out where your ascendant is and also where your Sagittarius house is. This is the area where you're going to be letting go. Things are going to come to a culmination or a natural ending in this area. So this is the area where you have to pay attention. Jupiter is the ruling planet of this lunation. So Jupiter is very important. And Jupiter just recently started transiting the sign of Pisces. Jupiter rules this sign, so he is very powerful there. So essentially you also have to look at the Pisces house in your natal birth chart, because this is where you're going to see some of the rewards that Jupiter is going to bring at this eclipse. The transits we're going to be having in May and June are very intense. If you're confused about anything or you don't understand how it's going to affect your natal birth chart, feel free to drop me a question in the description area. I always answer questions promptly. And if you enjoy this content, please hit like and subscribe. Also, please share my videos on your social media. Share my videos with your friends and family. You just never know who needs to hear this message. Also, remember to ring the bell icon so that you may be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you. Because Jupiter, the ruling planet of this eclipse, is actually squaring this eclipse. So he is very involved. Jupiter always tends to bring good things. This square aspect to the lunar nodes might just bring some type of relief that we need. And if you would like to know what is going on in your Pisces house, I suggest you go back and watch my previous video, Jupiter into Pisces, because this is the area where Jupiter is working for us for the next 2 months. So this is the area where you're going to likely see something happen as a result of this lunar eclipse, because Jupiter is going to be activated. Just be aware that the square of Jupiter to the luminaries could make you become a little bit greedy or have an excess of immorality, or you may just tend to exaggerate situations. So just be on the lookout for that type of behavior. Watch it in others and make sure it's not you who's exaggerating the facts. At the same time, Jupiter is squaring the nodes. This is going to push us to want to take action at this time, because Jupiter is the ruler of the south node where the lunar eclipse is. So Jupiter squaring the karmic nodes and squaring the lunar eclipse is a point of action, and the results of our actions are going to be seen in our Pisces house. I gave an extensive reading about Jupiter going into the sign of Pisces, so I encourage you to go and watch that video. Sagittarius rules the natural ninth house of the zodiac. This is all about our higher belief system, higher education, foreign lands, foreign places, foreign languages. The best way to find out how this lunar eclipse is going to affect you according to your own natal birth chart is to know the degree of the eclipse. The degree of the eclipse is 5 degrees of Sagittarius. So if you have anything at 5 degrees of Sagittarius, this is really going to affect you, because that planet that you have at that degree is going to be activated. So you're going to have to find out what that planet rules in your chart, and then you will have an idea what's going to happen. Just listening to the reading of your ascendant does not give you a clear picture of what's going to happen, because if you don't have anything at the degrees that are being highlighted. This eclipse could pass you by and nothing will happen. It may be happening to the people around you and you're just an observer, or the person that's going to be helping out the other people in your life who are going through this in an intense and extreme way. So if you have anything at 5 degrees of Sagittarius and the opposite sign of Gemini, 5 degrees Gemini, and then the square aspect of 5 degrees Pisces, and then a 5 degrees of Virgo. These are the points. These are the most important signs who are going to feel this lunation very intensely, because those are angles and they are squaring, and squares pushes into action. But the most important thing is the 5 degrees of Sagittarius. Check and see if you have a planet there. That planet is being activated and you're going to see results in the house that planet rules. Other people who will feel this intensely are people who are born on the 26th of May, a few days before or a few days after. This lunar eclipse is going to be part of your solar return chart. You're going to feel this very intensely. You're going to have culminations and endings and changes in the house of Sagittarius in your natal birth chart. So if you want to know how all this is going to affect you personally, I suggest you book a reading with me at rachel-mayo.com. I'm waiting for you. The ninth house is the area of our belief system. Belief systems that are taught to us, belief systems that we learn and adopt. A few examples of what could happen at this lunation are if you had an old belief system that was passed down to you from perhaps your parents, and you can no longer relate to this belief system. This might be the time that you decide to let it go. For others of you who are perhaps following somebody blindly, this might be the time that you will be presented with very convincing information. This might be the time that Mercury is going to reveal some truths, and you're going to start questioning your beliefs and or your trust in this individual. So this might be you removing yourself. This might be you removing yourself from a cult or blindly following a guru. Some of you may decide to leave a religious group and join another religious group, or some people may just decide to not believe in any type of religion at all. And since the ninth house also rules over higher education, this is the time that we might hear something in the news about universities and colleges. There might be some major changes coming in this area. The changes will include a major overhaul of the whole higher education system. Things are never going to be the same in this area. This is part of the job of these karmic nodes. They're here to help us let go of certain systems and belief systems that have not been working for a long time, and they're no longer serving us. They're not going to be a part of our future. We're also going to notice lower enrollment numbers into universities at this time, because most people no longer believe that they have to have higher education, a degree, in order to get a good paying job. We always have to remember that the moon represents the people. So the people are going to have to do some major letting go of things that concern the ninth house area. The moon is in Sagittarius after all, and this is the point of, and this is the release point. This is the letting go point. Let's not forget that the ninth house also rules over our justice system. So there will be major cleanup in that area also. Our justice system and policing needs a major overhaul in this country. So we are definitely going to hear something in the news regarding changes to this system. The Sagittarius lunar eclipse is also termed the blood moon, because this full moon is going to have a reddish color to it. So this lunar eclipse is going to challenge our belief systems, and the truth is going to come out. This is also a south node eclipse. When a south node eclipse occurs, it is a point of letting go. This eclipse is the major turning point in our life. This is the point where people are going to decide to take their life in a totally different direction. This is the point where a lot of people are going to change their higher belief systems. The old ways of believing, old ways of doing certain things is going to be left in the past. This is a release point, and this releasing can be done consciously or unconsciously. This means that some of us are going to be actually forced to leave certain things behind. If something has not been working out for you, this is the time that it's going to break away. This is the time that you are going to decide to fully walk away from it. Karmic nodes are very highlighted at this time. The North Node is in Gemini. This is the direction where we must all go. So we are being forced to look at the details. Before, the South Node in Sagittarius, we were just looking at the bigger picture. This is time to face the truth. So the truth will be revealed. So the truth will be revealed at this time. Things are going to become very clear at this point. We also have Mercury transiting his own sign, and he's stationary retrograde, so he's very powerful at this time. So when the ruler of the transiting North Node is involved in an eclipse, this really enhances, this really makes the eclipse very, very powerful, because this planet is there to push us into our future, whether we like it or not. And the fact that Mercury is also conjunct Venus, Mercury loves to be conjunct Venus, because they get to talk about love and money and business. So whatever happens at this point, it's very likely going to involve love and money, our relationships, our work. What relationships are we going to take forward into the future? What jobs are you going to stick with? And since Mercury also involves our immediate environment and communication, that could also be an issue here. You might have to go over details, listen to both sides of the story, and then perhaps after you've examined everything, you can leave your old belief system behind and move forward armed with new information. The other aspect in this lunation is Mars is opposite Pluto. That is going to come a little bit later, so we're just going to stay away from that one for now. The other main aspect is Mercury and Venus are going to be conjunct at this lunar eclipse. And they're also going to be squaring Neptune, who's currently transiting his own sign of Pisces, and Jupiter is there as well. So this really enhances the power of the Pisces house. Venus square Neptune is going to make you become very idealistic. You're not going to want to see details as they truly are. There's a huge risk of becoming gullible and delusional, sometimes even self-delusion. So be careful when it comes to issues concerning love or money. It's very likely and very easy for you to get swindled at this time. It's also very likely that you're not going to see your potential romantic partners in clear light. You're going to probably over idealize them. You're going to put them on a pedestal that they're going to get knocked off when this transit is over, when you start seeing things realistically. So if situations come up at this time, just remember that you're very vulnerable. I would advise you not to get into anything at this time. We also have to remember that Mercury is also square Neptune at this time. And this square also encourages lies. People are just not going to be telling the truth. There will be some form of deception. And as I said, there's a conjunction of Mercury and Venus. Venus rules over love and money. Mercury is the communicator. He's the intelligent and fast salesman. So this is not a perfect time for you to go and buy a big ticket item either. We also have to keep in mind at this time that Mercury is actually in shadow and is going to go retrograde on the 29th. So don't make any big ticket purchases. Not a perfect time to start a business. Not a perfect time for you to sign legal documents. It's not a perfect time for you to sign contracts. First of all, Mercury is in retrograde shadow. It's conjunct Venus and square Neptune. And then the other aspect, which is actually ongoing for the whole year, is Saturn squaring Uranus. This is an aspect that forces change upon us. It brings change that we don't like. The square between Saturn and Uranus brings restrictive change and unexpected change. It can bring changes that you don't want, and it also makes it very hard for you to bring changes that you actually do want in your life. When you put all these aspects together, you can see how it can be a very frustrating time. And whenever you're going through a lunar eclipse, things are not clear. Things get clearer later on when the event passes. So if you don't have to make life-changing decisions at this time, I would suggest that you give it some time. Wait until Mercury starts moving forward. This is the time for you to receive whatever is coming, review the information, and make decisions later. You probably don't have all the information needed at this time, and the information will come clear later. This eclipse is here to clear out our past life karma in the house of Sagittarius in our natal birth chart. So if things have not been working out in this area, this is the time that those situations or people are going to get eclipsed out. And once something is eclipsed out at an eclipse, it's dead, it's done. it's done for good. It cannot be repaired. So therefore, you should know that this is time for you to just walk away and let it go. If it's a relationship that ends at this time, it's not going to be repaired. This is more like spilt milk. You cannot recover spilt milk or broken eggs. It's time to just sweep everything out and put it in the trash where it belongs. Because there's something better waiting for you that is also fated. Mercury, the ruler of the North Node, is transiting the North Node, is a big part of this eclipse, and he's conjunct Venus. So once you let go and let it be, there is something waiting for you at the North Node, something that has to do with love or money. So if you choose to stay in the South Node, just be aware it's still going to break down. You're only going to have the illusion that it could be repaired, that you could still hold on to it. You're only sabotaging yourself. There is something waiting for you at the North Node, but you must let go first. Mercury is stationary retrograde at this time. So this means that take this opportunity to stop and think, and really think about all the information that you have at this time. Also remember that you don't have all the information that you need in order to make a big life-changing decision. Mercury is going to be going retrograde on the 29th of May. And he's going to stay retrograde until about mid-June. So if you need to make any life-changing decisions, sign any important documents, start a business, or get married, I would suggest you wait until Mercury is moving forward, because at that time you're going to have all the information, all the missing information, all the things that were hidden are going to be revealed. So this is an important point right here. Keep this in mind. Number 3 is a good one. Mercury and Venus are conjunct at this time. So this means that we are going to be thinking about money and love. We also have to remember that Venus also rules over our self-esteem. So if we had a belief system that was bringing us down because it was what was taught to us from generation to generation, this will be a perfect time for you to let go of this belief system and start looking at yourself, at your future in a new way. But let's keep in mind that this conjunction is also square Jupiter. So watch out for delusion, self-deception, corruption, lies. So essentially this means that this is going to be a very confusing time. If you're involved in a situation where you have to choose between one thing or the other, or if you're involved in a love triangle, keep in mind that this is going to blow up. It's going to be discovered, and you're going to be forced to make a decision. You have to choose one or the other. Gemini is the sign of the twins. So it's very likely that we may have two situations going on at the same time. And these are situations which can no longer be sustained. It's time to make a decision. Number 4, if you are being presented with a situation and you're feeling that you're being pushed against the wall, you're being pushed into a corner, make sure that you really think about what you're going to do next, because whatever you do is going to determine the direction of your life from this point. This is a very, very serious lunar eclipse, and it could bring some unpleasant but necessary endings. So think about whatever actions that you decide to take. This is an eclipse that's just 5 degrees away from the karmic nodes. So it is really highlighting our fated future. What's going to happen at this eclipse is going to probably change most people's lives. Number 5, keep in mind that you don't have all the needed information at this time. Lunar eclipses reveal what's been hidden. So you have to give this eclipse a bit of time for it to reveal to you what is really going on, for it to reveal to you what needs to be released. This eclipse is asking for you to change your bigger picture. This is the time for you to remodel your life. Whatever changes that you make at this eclipse, or whatever changes are forced upon you at this eclipse, are here to stay. And whatever is going to be let go, that is something that's not going to serve you in your future. Examine whatever your Sagittarius house is and cut ties where you have to.